I would say the most surprising is the Bucks for me.
Yeah, that's weird.
I understand that we haven't had. I understand that we haven't had the most high expectations for the Bucks, and we joke about Doc Rivers, and then they signed Darvin Ham. We have all these jokes, but like
trash.
They were never supposed to start 1-6. I don't think anybody predicted that.
At least
I don't
think 500 record.
At the very least, that's the
or
worst.
Close to it.
That's the worst bad start I could predict. It. They are literally the 15th team in the East right now.
Yeah,
they have a worse record than the Pistons.
I understand it for Philly because Philly's missing for the most part two of their big guys. They just got Paul George last game. That makes sense for them not to win many games. You're only missing Chris Middleton from that team. There are no other injuries.
I mean, he's a big component to what they do on defense.
Huge.
He's their primary.
Yeah, but they've
had one of the worst starts of the season, and they have an easy schedule at the beginning.
Yeah, that's why I can't really argue it. Even though like Dame had a good game without Greek, which is another thing that needs to be highlighted. I feel like now that we're seeing Greek Freak, he really does need to play with a lot of like top tier role players. He can't play with another guy. Right now, it's not translating, and what we got last year isn't translating to me either. I think he's too ball dominant, and I think he needs to kind of control the tempo of the game. When they're both kind of do the same thing on offense, they control the tempo of the game. So
who's the problem? I know we discussed it last week, and
Bobby Portis, bro.
We all had our opinions. That wasn't an opinion. That was not an opinion we shared last time. But.
They got two problems. Giannis does not like being the roll man. He doesn't like being in pick and rolls.
Which he would be amazing.
He's never been a huge screen setter, even if you go back and look at prior years. And Bobby Portis is a terrorist. Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is not the issue because Bobby Portis is following plays. Darvin Ham, I'm putting some blame on you just because you're on the Bucks. I just don't like you. But realistically, it's Doc Rivers calling up isolation plays for Bobby Portis. Bro. Bobby Portis at this stage in his career, with the two players that he has on his team, does not really need to be running ISOs. I think that we can agree on that, right?
Agree on that.
I mean, how many ISOs we talking? Like in a game, like one or two?
The last game I saw, they went in 4 for him, and he missed on every possession. I only watched for 2 quarters.
Was it 1 per quarter?
I only watched 2 quarters.
Okay,
I didn't watch the full game.
All right. I mean, I'm not. I don't think running in isolation for Bobby Portis is a terrible idea. It's not like he's running isolation all game long, but 4 times and a half, like that's not
we got
crazy.
A Doc Rivers fan over here.
No, I'm just saying Bobby Portis can score, so like giving him the ball to just get a bucket to get him going is fine. Like he is your 6th man of the year caliber player.
It's for me. It's just you got 2 coaches who like are notably known not to make adjustments in games. And this is a team that you have pieces to make adjustments and play different styles. And I feel like Doc is capping them. And I think you add another capper to them. It's just like, damn, like you just added another person who can't make adjustments at all.
Bro's a certified capper.
It's like just going to be just a long season for Giannis. Just in general. It's going to be a long season for Doc.
I think the biggest issue with the Bucks is like, when the Bucks were first coming up and Giannis was starting to develop that idea that, oh, my God, this kid can really be something special in this league, we're talking before the MVPs, before Jrue Holiday, before Brook Lopez, I think the biggest issue that him and Chris Middleton went through was there was no identity with the Bucks. There was no like, what is this team good at? What are they best at? Are they just good at giving the ball to Giannis? Are they just good at bailing out with Chris Middleton? Like, that's not something to be good at. And then once they developed, Mike Budenholzer, Brook Lopez, and Jrue Holiday, once they joined the picture, they developed an identity of, okay, this is a transition team. They're going to force a lot of turnovers. They're going to take advantage of their length. They're going to protect the rim. They're going to force you into a lot of bad shots, a lot of bad passes, and they're going to get in transition. Brook Lopez is going to trail for the threes. Jrue Holiday is going to push the ball. Giannis is going to push the ball. Chris Middleton is going to trail for the 3. You know what I mean? Like this identity of we're going to play hard defense, force a lot of bad decisions by the team, and push. Now they just regress. I think letting go of Jrue Holiday and letting go of Mike Budenholzer, regardless of what people believe in him, I know he had his playoff woes and he had his moments in the playoffs where you can say, okay, he wasn't the best coach possible, but he was the reason this identity the Bucks have was created. He made this happen. He made these adjustments. He put Jrue Holiday in this position. He put Brook Lopez in this position. He put Bobby Portis in this position. You know what I mean? So it's like it's now they've regressed back to we don't know what are we good at. What are we doing better than everybody else that we can come every single night and say as long as we do this, that, and the third, we win games. They don't have that. They don't have a this. They don't have a that. They don't have a third. You know what I mean? They don't have that. It's like the Celtics. They have that. It's like we are shot creators. Every player on this team can create a shot. That shot creation opens up for everybody else. We space the floor. We shoot a lot of threes because whoever has the ball in their hands can create and make something happen. That's our identity. Give the ball, trust them, create. You know what I mean? Like the Lakers are now developing a little bit more of a winning consistency because they have a better identity. We're playing through AD.
And that's how they won their championship.
We're going to play through AD. We're going to play hard on defense. We're going to make sure we find our best player every single time down, and it's going to make everybody else better. That's how we're going to win more games. Now, they're not perfect, but they're doing better than they did last year, right?
A lot better. They're as close as it gets to perfect with that roster.
Yeah.
That roster has a lot of holes in it.
Exactly. So it's like that's where the Bucks are missing. They regress back to the who are we? What are we supposed to do out there? They show up just playing Giannis ball, playing game ball.
Anytime I see Giannis screaming on timeout, it's not a good idea for the Bucks. And I'm sorry, Giannis is not their leader. I think he is their best player. He's their dog. I think Dame needs to be their leader, and I mean, we don't know what's inside.
I actually disagree.
Internally. I mean,
with half of what you said, I agree with the Giannis is not the leader type. He's a lead by example type. You know what I mean? He's that type of player.
He's like a KD
kind of guy. Wow.
Yeah, like he's gonna do all the work that is required to make sure we win. But he's not the vocal guy. He's not the yell at you. I don't think Dame is that either. I don't think Dame is that guy. He's also a lead by example. I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to bring you with me. I'm going to show up to the gym early. I'm going to bring you with me. I'm going to show you what I do. I don't think that's enough. I think Jrue Holiday was that guy. Like, yo, y'all got to chill the fuck out. Let's play basketball. This is what we're doing wrong. This is what we need to do better. This is what coach said. This is what we're going to do. If you can't get with it, then we're not going to win. Mm-hmm. You know, he's that voice that's going to say, this is what the coach told us to do. This is what we're going to do. When I do it, look at what happens. Now, y'all got to get your ass together and do it too. You know what I mean? That's the mentality that Jrue Holiday had.
And now they have a coach that is not the best at making adjustments. He's not too bad in the regular season. And they have a personnel which doesn't really have a leader. Nobody really wants to step up. Yep. And I don't think anybody has the locker room to step up.
Yeah.
Dame is brand new. Even if he was that leader type, do you expect the locker room just to fall behind him after one off season?
I just
a year and a half. Sorry.
Yeah, I just think. I think where the inevitable is going to happen, and this is going to be something I think from a year now when they're blowing it up. It might be sooner than that. Who knows? Depending on if they get it together or not. But I don't expect this team to stay together. I don't know if you guys do. It just doesn't look like it's going to work. And they've had a whole season. Now they have the beginning of this season, and it's just not looking good. Like I said, once they get Chris Middleton, I'll really lock down and really think about it even more. But if they don't play better when they get Chris Middleton, then I don't know.
Yeah, if the game doesn't get easier for them when Chris Middleton's on the floor, then there's no saving this team. Like, he's the ultimate plug-in player. He's really KD on discount.
He's the best sidekick you could possibly have on any team.
He's a dollar menu KD. You know what I mean?
He's a playoff P too. Like, he gets right in the playoffs. Like, in clutch moments, he's great.
He's one of the hottest. He is just like Klay Thompson in the playoffs at times. Ooh. He has just not as many crazy moments, but he has a lot of crazy moments.
Yeah,
but I'm also worried about this team because even when he does come back, you can go back and look it up. Giannis has been injured every single postseason since. Like, you can't rely on that man to carry, so that's why I think that they picked up Dame to keep him healthy. But Dame is not that player that plays well with Giannis because of his own personality. So I don't know what you do with a team like that.
I don't think they blow it up.
Me neither.
I see so many aspects of it. I just don't think it's Milwaukee. It's just not a franchise that can afford to go back to the drawing board. I think the coaching change needs to happen. They need an identity. I was never a fan of firing, but that's just me. Yeah, I was never a fan of that. I don't believe that was the right decision. I think Bud is the type of coach where it's like when those players that are really good aren't doing so hot, but you're like, okay, we got to give it a year or two. We got to give it even a little bit more to figure this out because this player is so good we can't just give up on him. You know what I mean? I think Bud has that same level of impact in my personal opinion.
2 years, though, with 2 years of underperforming.
But I don't like. I don't know.
Lost to the Heat in the first round.
Yeah, they were hurt though. That's why.
Yeah, they weren't healthy. They didn't have Tyler Hero.
no, the Heat were healthy, but they weren't.
The Heat were not healthy.
The Bucks weren't either. They were missing Giannis.
Giannis missed games that series.
That's not fair to him.
To me, I don't know. It's hard to convince me that Bud was the correct person to let go at that time. I don't think anybody was the correct person to let go at that time. I think with a little bit of patience, this team had the tools and the ability to win another championship.
Sometimes you just run it back.
Yeah, like it's like you don't gotta win every year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you can win a year and lose, a year or two later and get it back going. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to work that way. You can run it back. You can try again. It's. I don't think Bud was the right person to let go. I don't think. At that time, I understand why going for Dame makes sense. So I'm not going to be that guy with the hindsight bias.
I could say I was wrong.
Yeah, I was wrong. Essentially, yeah, I agree. I was wrong.
I think
it wasn't the right move.
Needs to say that too, though. And I just think that, like I said, when it comes to what you're saying, Nas, because I agree with you on that end, I don't think it's like a total blow up. But I mean, if we're going half the year and we got this going on, what do you guys think? Trade deadline happens. Are you trying to re-up your team?
The easiest solution here, I think, is to figure out a different coach. You guys were winning with a notoriously bad coach for the locker room, from what people have said, in Adrian Griffin. Like everyone in the locker room, or the media suggests that Adrian Griffin lost the locker room, but they were 30-11, bro.
They were balling.
And
they had an identity.
Try a different coach. Try somebody other than Doc.
Yeah.
Doc has underperformed in every single season besides 2008. You go back to the Magic in 2004, underperforms with T-Mac. You go to any team after that, the Clippers, you go to the Philly, you go anywhere else, this dude has never performed well other than one team that he won a championship with.
And that Celtics team is arguably one of the best starting fives to ever touch the floor.
It's a great starting five, bro. It had MVP candidates, it had Defensive Player of the Year candidates, it had everything. It had a rising point guard, Rondo.
There's not.
You were probably a Magic fan in 2004, in some place or somewhat. Were you watching them?
2004?
Yeah.
2004?
Okay.
They were not good.
Go back and look at the performance of that team with T-Mac, a legendary performance from T-Mac this year. Doc has just consistently been a bad.
But I mean,
was Doc in the Magic that long?
Doc was actually the reason that Tim Duncan did not go to the Magic. He was
but that was back in 2000, 2001.
2004.
2004.
No, that wasn't 2004.
It was.
It was. Because they were trying to get him and Shaq to play together, and then Shaq left LA.
I might have it might be 2003, but it's one of those 2 years. I mix up 2003, 2004, and then 2004 season.
To harp on it, I mean, this organization itself, I'm
gonna look it up.
The organization itself, they're in a damn if I do, damn if I don't position. You fired a coach midseason around the same time of the year, a little bit later on in the year, obviously, but you fire a coach. Now you're thinking about firing another coach. To me, it just shows incompetence, as an organization. And I think they just kind of were on this high to keep Giannis, and they did everything to keep Giannis. And really, what they did was shoot themselves in the foot, because now you're keeping Giannis at what cost?
The Orlando Magic almost had Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady, and Tim Duncan in 2000, July 11th. Tim Duncan announced that he will re-sign with the San Antonio Spurs.
I'll take that, but Doc Rivers, I'm almost certain.
Doc Rivers. That's why I was asking, was Doc Rivers there so long? Because you said 2004. I don't think he was there that long. He won Coach of the Year in 2000 with the Magic.
Yeah.
And Doc Rivers was the reason why Tim Duncan did not go.
Jeez.
So wait, I'm confused. So he was a coach?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
But you said 2004. That's what confused me, because I don't think he was there that long.
I'm almost certain he was. But you guys continue while I look this up.
Yeah, but that part doesn't matter. Tim Duncan was supposed to go there in 2000. But I think the what do you want to call it? The
Doc Rivers.
The hype. I don't even think there is any hype. I don't even know what I'm saying. There's no hype.
No hype.
The misconception. That's what it is. The misconception that Doc Rivers is supposed to be an elite coach that's supposed to change a team's culture or change a team's what's the word? Trajectory. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think it never has been a thing. I get it and I understand, but y'all gotta let it go, bro. That was 2008. You know what I mean? And that was what is that, man? 16 years ago?
I mean, those Clippers teams were competitive too. We can't take that away. Those Clippers teams.
Yeah, that's it. They were just competitive.
Yeah, that's cool. But
I think sometimes, Mike, what's his name? Mike D'Antoni, the king of having good teams and never winning it, but always having somewhere to coach. I mean, there's a lot of coaches.
But Mike D'Antoni makes a significant difference to every team's offense, which is what they're looking for.
He has a system.
Doc Rivers hasn't made a significant difference to a team because when you substitute him for Ty Lue, the team is either better or similar in production-wise. You know what I mean? They're still a good defensive team like they were with Doc Rivers. They're still a great offensive team like they were with Doc Rivers.
Bro, the Rockets were one game away from beating the KD Warriors.
Yeah, so D'Antoni, yes, he fits the same realm of what's the word I just used?
Winning for no reason?
Misconception. He fits the same boat, but I understand the idea of bringing D'Antoni, knowing that he will instantly make your offense better. And when you're looking for an offensively driven system, I understand going for him. There's nothing that entices
right now,
me.
I think.
Yeah, there's nothing that entices me to get Doc Rivers.